do it often and better than everyone else, then you are going to dominate your particular market. That is how this works.
For the rugged. Been a little too nice to y'all. Now I gotta up price for y'all. Snake eyes on dice for y'all. Shoulders on ice for y'all.
Yo, what's going on? It is Miguel. I am currently in Los Angeles. Please check out this view. So, I'm in LA, just wanted to relax for a couple of days because I just came back from High Status Summit. I had to interact with a lot of people. For me, that just makes me very tired. So I wanted to come to LA, hang out by the water, energize myself before I have to go to 10X, and then interact with a bunch of people, network, potential business opportunities, all that stuff. While I'm in between events, since I just came back from one, I wanted to go over the key things that I learned at High Status Summit that could potentially help you out so that you can also get some benefits from that event. But nothing beats the real thing. If you can go, if you're capable of buying a ticket and going to the next one in September, I believe is when it is, you should definitely do that. Whether you have to buy a plane ticket, even if you're close, like that's even more of a reason why you should be going. I will be there. You should be there. And if we do end up there, make sure to say what's up. I met a few people who follow my YouTube channel. It was pretty freaking awesome. I appreciate you if you came up to me. Now let's go ahead and get into it. There are 3 key things that I learned at High Status Summit that I'm going to embody and keep in mind for as long as I live. First thing is to have a perfect day planned out. This is something that I learned from Craig Ballantyne during his talk. Shout out to Craig Ballantyne. Thank you for giving that talk. So he has a thing called the perfect day formula. You guys have heard me talk somewhat about my routine and my schedule. That dude's even more intense. I think he wakes up at like 3 a.m. every single morning. He's in bed by like 8. All of his stuff is just like perfectly set in stone of when he's going to do it, where he's going to be. And the main takeaway that I got from his stuff is that he plans his life first, like the non-negotiables that he wants to have inside of his life, and then he puts the work in there. So he's building his business around his life instead of building his life around his business. And I can see how that can have a positive impact on his sanity and make sure that the people in his life who he cares about continue to be happy, because like he has a family, kids, stuff like that. It's not something I have to deal with, but you know, I still like playing video games and watching anime. So if I can schedule that stuff in and then build my business around me wanting to be a nerd, then that'd be awesome too. So I still have my regimented schedule, but now I make sure to build my business around that like routine, that schedule that I have, that perfect day formula around that. And I got a clear idea of what it should look like. I've made my morning routine slightly shorter based off of what Craig Ballantyne was saying. I suggest you check out some of his content, check out the perfect day formula, because it's something that like can have a huge impact. The way you move about your day, the habits that you have, the things that you're doing day in and day out is what is going to result in what you accomplish throughout your life, because all your life is an accumulation of every single day and every single habit that you have. So that is why that was very impactful when I heard it. The second biggest thing that I learned from High Status Summit is from another one of the guest speakers. His name is Joel Marion. So Joel Marion is a freaking beast of an entrepreneur. He's built $100 million businesses over and over and over again, and he does stuff very similar to me, which is why it was so impactful. But the reason why he's able to do it so much more effectively is because he has a very good grasp of his numbers. So that is the second thing that I got out of High Status Summit, is to know your numbers. Dan Kennedy has a saying that goes, the one who can spend the most to acquire a customer usually wins. When I first heard that, I was thinking, okay, that means like you need to have a lot of money and be able to just throw money at the market. But in reality, it means you just need to know your numbers and know exactly how much you can pay to acquire a customer, and then just figure out how to get your cost of acquisition, basically how much you're spending to get customers, get that right below that, and then just keep paying that over and over and over and over and over again. Basically, you're trying to figure out how you can spend $1 and get $2 every single time, and you're able to do that through paying for affiliate. Sorry, there's a bunch of birds going crazy next to me. But you're able to do that by spending a ton of money on affiliates and stuff like that. And if you know how much each of your customers are worth 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 180 days down the line, then you can go into the negative a month or 2 months knowing for a fact that you're going to make that money back 180 days down the line. And the only way you're able to do that is by knowing the data yourself, or the way he does it and the way I'm going to do it is by hiring a data analyst, giving them all the data and letting them tell you that information so that you don't have to guess or don't have to pretend like you know what you're doing. I'm not going to pretend like I know what I'm doing. I'm just going to hire somebody, have them go through the data, tell me what each customer is worth, and then boom, I'm able to spend the most to acquire a customer. If you want to check out Joe Marion's stuff, he has a podcast. And last but not least, the third thing that I got out of High Status Summit came from Dan Pena, aka Darth Vader. And basically, it's a very simple one. It's one that we all need to remember to tell ourselves every now and then, is to stop being a pussy and take action. There are so many times where like especially with the way the media is pushing this whole like Me Too movement and feminism, and like all these dudes are starting to act very feminine, there comes a point where like you have to just stop bitching, stop being a pussy, and just take action. Just keep pushing, keep going, like read the books, take the action, pay for mentors, do all of that stuff. Make sure that you are actually putting in the time and effort that it's going to take to accomplish the goals that you have. There's a common theme between all of the people who are successful, especially in the entrepreneur space, where all of them do all that can be done each day. There's obviously outliers. There's versions of reality where you could potentially be someone who does nothing and is still successful, like Eckhart Tolle, for example, comes out and just like speaks every now and then. Doesn't ever hit a deadline, stuff like that. But if you want to go ahead and make sure that you actually dominate their path, you actually have to dominate. You have to get up, you have to go do stuff. And obviously make it something that you actually enjoy doing. Like that's still a possibility. For me, like figuring out how to learn marketing and learn all these psychological tactics and try and like spend $1 and make $2, like that's something that's actually fun for me. If that's not something that's actually fun for you, then find a different area of business or something that's actually fun for you. But when you figure that thing out, go hard at it and do it often, because if you're able to find something that you love doing to a degree and you do it often and better than everyone else, then you are going to dominate your particular market. That is how this works. Thank you, Dan Pena, for telling me to not be a pussy and to just take action. So once again, if you're into business, entrepreneurship, anything like that, and you're looking for a way to surround yourself with like-minded people, potentially meet me, definitely go to High Status Summit in September of 2019. I will 100% be there. I'll be trying to dap people up. It's one of my favorite events. I don't know where a link is, but if you just type in Jason Capital High Status Summit 2019, I'm sure you'll find it somewhere. So thank you again for watching. If you made it to the end, go ahead and like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment below if you have any questions about anything business, lifestyle, self-development, marketing, copywriting, anything. If you have any sort of questions, leave a comment below. I'll 100% make a video about it. So thanks again for watching, and peace.